What? You're terrible at being quiet. This was literally my only instruction. It was don't laugh. All right, so I just want to add at the end here that I believe this is a Sargent number 43, but it doesn't look like one. And the reason for that is that it actually was modified a lot. So I'll put a picture up here and you can tell that it's really not the same. So the main difference obviously is the handle here is supposed to be up here and it's a turned piece of wood, and now got moved down here and it's not turned. Then this bracket here isn't supposed to be there. That was obviously affixed from something that broke, because that should be cast iron that goes around there. This back tie loop thingy here to tighten the blade should have been brass style. It should have been a lot prettier, but I didn't really have time to make one. Then here, this is covering a part of a thread that was broken, so there's a small gap in the thread, and I guess it's to stop this wheel from going too far and hitting it. So but that was plastic, and that's kind of my point here, is that all of these modifications help it stay completely functional, which is great, but they weren't done in a way that's very pretty, so it doesn't look like it was somebody that was collecting these tools whatsoever. It was really just meant to be functional. So the screws here are all over the place. They're not mapped out properly. Under here too, they're completely all over the place. There's like they had no measurements. Like, these were just put on by eye. And that's interesting, because it was still probably done by a machinist, because everything is actually quite well made. So everything is tapped properly. The shaft here, like the handle will go through, this was tapped in the end, which you would need a machinist to do that, because you need a metal lathe to do that. And here, the holes meeting up here are also quite a nice fit, which wouldn't be super easy to do if you didn't know what you were doing. So I really believe this was done by a machinist. Which meant that this was all fixed in a time where it was cheaper to hire a machinist to fix one of these tools than to buy a whole new one. And with all the fixes on there, it's not just a few minutes for a machinist to do this. So I just think it's very interesting that this tool probably had a really strong work life, and it actually got used quite a bit. The other thing I'll notice too is I don't know where this came from, because I actually bought it from someone who got it from someone else and that kind of thing. It was actually well maintained. So everything was, rusty and whatnot, but the blade was actually sharpened properly. One thing you'll notice when you're buying used tools is the last person to own them seems to always be somebody that wasn't a woodworker and had no idea how to sharpen them, and they completely scrapped the blade right before selling it. But this one was actually sharpened properly, so it wasn't sharp, but you could tell the last person that had sharpened it had done the right job. So if you guys have any other ideas of why these modifications might have been done to the plane and so on, feel free to drop a comment. And on that note, feel free to follow my Instagram, because I post a lot of stuff, and a lot more often than on my YouTube. And it's not for selling or anything like that. It's really just an Instagram to display kind of what's going on in the shop. So feel free to follow that. Thanks for watching.